Alrighty, good morning everyone. And I think we're ready to go. Good. Welcome to another stream of Lyrebird Edits. Who have we got in chat? Good morning Herring, good morning Pumpkin, good morning Outrider, good morning Pumpkin. Thank you for being really patient with me as I set up this morning. Good. I was trying to remember where we got up to last time with Pumpkin's story. I think it was about midway through chapter 2. But I was reading it before stream then, and I couldn't pick the point where we finished. I think we'll just dive into chapter 3. Why not? That sounds a bit better. You get 2 good mornings because you chatted twice. Out of order. I too am curious with Herringbone's question. I don't know what pumpkin pie tastes like. I sort of imagine it's like this weird sort of savory thing. Is it served with whipped cream, or am I thinking of something else? What am I thinking of? I'm not sure. I'll go 150. Nice. It's only the things that have made their way to Australia though, like, I was chatting with my friends yesterday and we were all discussing the Black Friday sales. Because last year in Australia, we didn't have... We don't celebrate Black Friday or Cyber Monday, but this year it was really, really prominent. Lots of different stores were having Black Friday sales, and Cyber Monday hasn't happened yet, but one company has Cyber Weekend. I think they're just riding the coattails of the sale wave. But we noticed it was really interesting that this year it seemed especially intense, whereas last year it was almost not a thing. Isn't that interesting? So it's funny what comes over from the States, and other things like pumpkin pie do not. That's a lovely description of it. Hey, Outrider's back. Okay, good, let's start. Hopefully the stream's a bit more stable. So, pick a point, read, and then we'll go back and start to do a line by line thingo. Edit, that's what we do. Rain, come on, work. And I was just about to ask Pumpkin if he had like a little summary. Chapter 1 into 3, 4, Chapter 2 somewhat disconnected to those chapters. That's what I thought. Chapter 2 had the those 2 guards who were patrolling a toll booth. Chapter 1, if I remember correctly, was the snowy cabin with the breach. That's right, yeah. Good. So we've done these 2 before in the past. Ooh, Chapter 3. Let's dive in. North of the Yukon, and miles away, in an ill-lit doctor's office, Commander Norris paced around the scratched mahogany desk in the room, a leak from the ceiling dripping steadily onto the desk. He hadn't slept all night, but you wouldn't be able to tell from the pep in his step. Now in his senior years, it was rare for him to have direct contact with agents, much less fugitive agents. Commander Norris was waiting for a general from far away with promises of an agent called Grimm. Although this proved a long wait, as Commander Norris had found time to count the cotton swabs in the glass jar on the desk, 37 to be exact, he moved on to counting the ceiling and floor tiles, 97.5 for both. There was a crack where the roof was leaking. There was a small patient bed in the room, and a sink in the corner of the room, with various unwashed doctor's tools littered on top of a white towel. The only possession which mattered to Commander Norris was a box on top of the desk. Commander Norris glared at his watch out of habit. He sighed and looked down at the box. Commander's eyes diverted from the box and made its way to his hands. He noticed they were shaking. He reached over to the box, his eyes moved from his hand to the wrist. He focused on the ticking of his watch. A bead of sweat fell from his face. His hand steadied. He flipped the box's lid and pulled out a golden wrapped cigar. He brought it to his face and closed his eyes, sighing, anything to avoid the guilt trip of the medical posters around the room. One poster advertised joint relief in Arizona, another reminding him to get a flu shot with the phrase, treat, don't beat. But there was only one poster that bothered him. It warned against smoking. It was a colorized picture of gum decay saying, health matters, don't smoke, chew on that. Or health matters, don't smoke, chew on that. Chew on this, I ain't got much time left anyway. He reached into his pocket for his lighter, fumbling his cigar. Damn. The cigar rolled across the floor and settled in the middle of the pool of water accumulated from the leaky roof. Amanda Norris saw his reflection. The old man could have fooled most into believing he was in his mid-30s, maybe even a model you might find out of a catalogue. His face gave the appearance of someone much younger. The brown eyes were well rested, his nose rounded and unscarred. His dark, smooth skin was wrinkle-free, thankfully, he thought. His mother told him stress would create wrinkles and to rethink his line of work. It turned out his mother was wrong about the wrinkles, but perhaps right about the stress. It was his hair that betrayed him, as he developed smatterings of greys amongst his head of black hair. He considered using a dye to conceal, but he scoffed at the process when he read the back of a bottle. He wore a dark green coat, decorated at the sides with many military credentials. Buttons were on their last threads, and some chipped. He wore black khakis and a white collared dress shirt, both wrinkle-free. One sec. I gave you guys a nice glimpse of my Las Vegas carpet shirt. I think this was the Las Vegas one. Yep. Yeah, anyway. There we go. Now I shouldn't be slipping back so much. There we go. Good. Let me go back and read chat. Hang on. I'm gonna cut it there. PumpkinPieAddict is requesting that the author of this service piece be kicked off the stream. Okay, the cigar link from chapter 1, cool. And the art benefits card. I'm gonna stop here with the edit, but I'll keep in mind the art card when we come back to it. Interesting. Isn't it funny, those sort of like generational gaps? Yeah, it's kind of cool. Alright, neat. So we've got a piece of writing that's grounding us in a new area and introducing a new character, because we haven't met Commander Norris before. I'm fairly certain of that. Let me just do a quick Norris. Yep, this is the first Norris in the story. So, new character, new city, new location, 60 hours until deadline. Let me check. 2 hours to deadline. Oh, that's right, because there was one of Grimm's demands, or whoever Grimm's fighting, that there's like a time thing going on right now. Definitely Vegas, but not the Strip. Oh, the B terminal. Oh. We've been incorrect. Maybe old in flesh, but young at heart. I actually have no idea how old you are. I assume everyone's young at heart. Everyone's young at heart. Okay, good. And so keeping that in mind, that we haven't had exposure to this character before, your readers will be a little more amenable to have this kind of introductory scene. It's a useful thing to do because it's a useful thing to do because in this type of story where you follow a character through in quite a major way, it's good to have some sort of introduction to them that's in some ways a bit quiet and a bit characterful. And this is one of those introductions. It's like a limbo introduction. Characters in place A, waiting for another character to come in. So with that in mind, we can be a bit more generous in terms of the types of things that we're writing about with this new character. You got energy to burn, Outrider SG. That's a good thing. Simply taxing. Is it a play on words with something? Simply taxing. I think it may have gone over my head. I'm not really sure what it could be referring to. That's okay. I'm willing to just let it sort of ride into the chapter, and then maybe like 3/4 of the way through, I'll be able to sort of click in with what it means. Oh, okay, it's a syntax, right. Yeah, I have heard of that. Oh, hence the cigar. Okay, nice, nice. Hello, Clem. Welcome back to the stream. We're just about to begin picking apart chapter 3. I've read through the first page, so with your presence here, we can dive right in. We were waiting for you. Honestly, we were like, where's Clem? Can't start without her. It's actually quite rude to keep us waiting, but I forgive you. All right, north of the Yukon, and miles away. Miles away in. Do you put a comma there? Let's see what that looks like. We have quite a few syntaxes. We don't call them syntax. North of the Yukon, and miles away, in an ill-lit doctor's office, Commander Norris paced around with a scratched mahogany desk in the room, a leak from the ceiling dripping steadily onto the desk. So we've got 4 phrases here, A, B, C, and D. It's quite a long introduction to a new setting, so I would actually consider doing this and then breaking it up into 2 sentences. So, north of the Yukon, and miles away, in an ill-lit doctor's office, Commander Norris paced around the room. Or just paced back and forth. I mean, you can say something like a leak in the ceiling. I'm just moving this. I'm not deleting it entirely. A leak from the ceiling drips steadily onto the scratched mahogany desk. If you want to keep this detail in. Good. You don't even need to delete desk. Like that. So the advantage of doing that is that you give your reader a bit of breathing room so that they're not going duh, 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 duh with the first sentence. Like, the more phrases you stack into a sentence, the longer it becomes and the saggier it gets. That's you. I was tempted to say Auntie Who, but that's an Australian reference. Herringbone, do you remember that the Don't Chop the Dinosaur Daddy ad? Oh no, that's a completely different ad. Oh, I'm getting my ads confused. But yeah, there were 2 really iconic Australian ads. One's for these like dinosaur jellies, and the other is it's an ad for tea, not a brand of tea, just tea. Like the tea lobby made an ad, and this mum is says to her son, like, you should drink lots of tea. It's got lots of antioxidants in them. And the kid goes, Auntie Who? Do you remember that, Herringbone? What a time to be alive. Anyway, let me go back and read chat. I think Herring's right. The wine industry is enormous. We make very very good wine, so it would be difficult to tax that industry without a lot of backlash. Um, I like wine. Everyone likes wine. And the room implies that the room is. Adding the room implies that the room is the north of the Yukon. So north of the Yukon are miles away, and um. Hmm. Oh, okay, I've been, Outriders, you fix up those, never mind. Anti-Australians are what I take. Hey, Sayaka, welcome back to the stream. And Outrider says, the opening, even with the interruption between the commas, is a dangling modifier. Is was your comment just itself a dangling modifier? And is that what it's called when you have those sort of separated phrases? Rainbow says he doesn't remember that one. Oh. Yes, Australian humour is a bit weird. Sorry, GDLACC. mm. Ah, the Great Wall of China for reference. You don't like wine, Clem, really? Well then, I respect your difference of opinion. Yes, yep. I can hear this number in my head. Dingly modifier, cool. Thank you, Sayaka. Feel free to stay. Feel free to lurk. Or feel free to chat. Anything you like. uh, good stuff. Okay, so nothing. I sort of feel like this is a bit more neutral now. It's not balanced against the room or Commander Norris. It's just descriptive. I'd like to link these two ideas. Now, currently, this has no follow-on relationship with that. A leak from the ceiling dripping steadily. Oh, sorry, it should be dripped. Drip steadily onto the scratched mahogany desk. Full stop. He hadn't slept all night, but you wouldn't be able to tell from the pep in his step. Now, no, I didn't mean dropped. I mean dripped. Okay. Now, these two don't have any relation to each other right now, so what I'd like to see happen is like a linker being inserted here. Here's one that I could think of. Leak from the ceiling drips steadily onto a scratch mahogany desk. Okay, so this here with the addition of this whatever the hell this is that I just wrote. A leak from the ceiling dripped steadily onto the scratched mahogany desk, drip like the demented sleepless clock without end. The commander matched its scattered paste. Now, the reason why I added this is because it links these two ideas together. What you want to avoid doing in an introductory setting like this is just blur ideas. You don't want to just throw out like a whole sort of mishmash of, hey, he's in a room, there's this thing here, that's also happening, also in this corner here that's happening, and hey, here's the commander doing something. You try and want to make it like a unified whole, which is, it doesn't take too much effort, actually. You just have to sort of look at this sentence here and think, okay, how can I push this into the next one with some sort of common link? So I kind of went with the sleepless pacing and matched it here. Now you don't have to keep this. Keep in mind this is all placeholder. Everything I ever type into a story, into another person's story, is just words, right? But I think what I wanted to demonstrate here is that you can link these ideas together with like an intermediate idea, and in doing so you create like a really neat fluid pace between them. I think that's probably stronger, the stronger thing to do rather than just push in the ideas and let them run solo. Neutral no supply. Alrighty, Psycho. We'll catch you when we catch you. Hmm. North of the Yukon and miles away, I'm reading now, Outrider SG. An elite doctor's office sat upon the precipice of a cliff's edge. Commander Norris had been placed blah blah. Even now, he'd. That's not a bad suggestion if you wanted to. I think Outrider's suggestion comes from the fact that this may be pushing in one idea of the scene, whereas this inserts the character into the scene bubble. I'm not sure. I'll let PPA determine whether or not he wants to break up this sentence into two and deal with the setting and then the setting within the setting. I'm okay with it as is, but I think Outrider's suggestion is good to work with. Thurkenum, hello. Hi Thurkenum. I was just stumbling over your screen name trying to think of how to pronounce it. But hi. Welcome to the stream. We're in a good point actually. We're just at the start of Pumpkin Pie Addicts chapter 3. And we're going through the first little paragraph here, so we'll push forward. But hello, welcome. Yeah, TTLAC asks, is the clock a simile or an actual object? I think this would make it an actual object, wouldn't it? Oh, actually, no, sorry. It would be a simile then. Like a demented sleepless clock. Or you can just say like a sleepless clock. That might work just as well too. I think in that case it'd be a simile. Hmm. I think dangly is our word of the day. Oh no. Alright, let's push forward. He hasn't slept all night, but you wouldn't be able to tell from the paper he stepped 90 seniors away from Turtle and everything, just muscles fugitive agents. I think this at the end here feeds together nicely the motive of this whole page. So he's meeting with an agent. So immediately we know vaguely where he is. His body language tells you what he's feeling, and we know why he's here. So I think for all intents and purposes, this is a nice little way to start off the scene. And then we're ready for more. Commander Norris is waiting for a general from far away with promises of an agent called Grimm. Although this proved a long way, as Commander Norris had found time to count the cotton swabs in the glass jar on the desk, 37 to be exact. A hyphen. He moved onto the ceiling and counted the floor tiles, 95 for both. There was a crack where the roof was leaking. Now the same thing happens in the last chapter, and I think you wanted to repeat this. For example, count the cotton swabs. So, this is a throwback to the last chapter, right? Just wanted to check. Not the cotton swabs, it's more the counting. One thing that I want to try and work with is this idea that the motive needs to be re-established throughout the whole page. You can declare it up front and then move on to other things, that's fine. But I think this would be a lot stronger if a lot of the detail was tailored towards waiting for a general from far away with promises of Grimm. So the things that I remember from this page and a little bit over the page is the golden cigar and the posters. That's about it. This here we'll get to in a second, but I wonder if we can't do this in a slightly smarter way that incorporates the cigar and for a general. So question for Pumpkin Pie Addict: does the general and the commander, do they have a pre-established relationship? And the answer to that question will determine how I suggest you incorporate new information here. You'll see. Okay, interesting. There was a small patient bed in the room and sink in the corner with various unwashed doctor's tools littered atop of the white towel. The only possession that mattered to Commander Norris um, was a box on top of the desk. Commander Norris glared at what a habit. So everything from here on, so it's a cigar box, right? Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I have got an idea forming here. Let me go back and have a read of chat. Alright, it says instead of promises, perhaps on the promise of a. Where's the promise? Whoops. Spoilers. This is waiting for a faraway whiff. So Commander, sorry, Outrider SG says on the promise of a. Yeah, I agree. Or of an agent. Promises of an agent. Yeah, I think that reads better. They're former lovers. It's very Freudian cigars. Oh, everything was a penis to Freud. It is everything. There was a small patient bed in the room and sink in the corner of the room with various unwashed doctor's tools littered on top of a white towel. Full stop. The only possession that mattered to Commander Norris was a box on top of the desk. Commander Norris glared at his watch out of habit. He sighed and looked down at the box. The commander's eyes diverted from the box and made its way to his hands. He noticed they were shaking. He reached over to the box. His eyes moved up from his hand to the wrist. He focused on the ticking of his watch. A bead of sweat fell from his face. His hand steadied. Lit the box's lid and pulled out a golden wrapped cigar. He brought it to his face and closed his eyes, sighing. Anything to avoid the guilt trip of the medical posters surrounding the room. One poster advertised joint relief in Arizona, another reminding him to get a flu shot with the phrase "Don't treat or don't beat." This section here trips me up quite a lot. Um, and it repeats the structure, which is interesting. So, um, Commander Norris does this, he does that. The commander's eyes do this, he does that. He does this, he does that. And it stops here with a bit of sweat fell from his face. The only way that I could conceivably suggest keeping this in is it almost sounds like he's hesitant to open the box. Maybe he's had an experience in the past where he opened a cigar box and it blew up in his face or something. That's the impression I get. But until then, it's just chewing time. This information here is not conducive to pushing the story forward in any way. Yeah, right. See, I think I understand the intention of what you're trying to do. From my perspective as a reader, and maybe you can ask. There we go. Reconnection successful. Maybe.